Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, we of course want to give thanks to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free on whichever platform you choose to listen. Thanks to Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. Brock and the gang there doing a great job. Make sure you visit them and look them up in Massillon, Ohio for takeout, and they're still working on the delivery services as well through Grubhub and Uber Eats. So follow them at smokin_JsBBQ on Instagram and Twitter, and you'll be able to find out more information there. Thanks also, of course, to the Dive Bar, who has been the home of the AIW After Party as of late in Cleveland. Whether or not that continues into the winter months, we'll see. We may make a new home for the After Party spot, but they certainly bailed us out over the last several months, so big thanks to them. And thanks to IWTV and SmartMark Video, the merger of the two, it's never been easier to watch AIW. If you're into physical media, if you're a fan of the like AIW owner John Thorne, you could purchase DVDs. You can also purchase MP4s of every single AIW show that has ever gone to DVD or been recorded. That is available at smartmarkvideo.com. Or if you want to stream shows constantly, a revolving archive of AIW shows, as well as other independent promotions, plus live streams of events, go to IWTV, independentwrestling.tv, sign up, use the code ABSOLUTE so they know that we sent you. For $9.99, you can watch countless hours of independent wrestling right there on IWTV. It's available on smartphones, smart devices, tablets, iPads. You can watch it on your computer. You can watch it if you've got an Apple TV, any sort of internet TV, really, Roku. It's all available there. You can stream shows live when they are streaming, and of course, you can watch past shows as well. All that being said, we get into this week's show. Of course, as always, AIW owner John Thorne is here. My name is Steve
Shout
Guy.
out to physical media. I guess I'm a physical media fan.
Are you not a physical media fan?
Yeah, I get. Well, I don't know. Getting a little away from it, I gotta say.
Are you? Are you evolving?
Well, I don't know if I'm evolving as a person or my laziness is evolving in my person, in my brain. Sometimes it's just real difficult to get that DVD or Blu-ray out and put it in the player. You got to get up, you got to walk, you got to put it in. Sometimes streaming is a little bit more convenient.
Yeah, I could understand.
I got to just hit a button. I will say, October, right around the corner, starting this Friday, I will be dusting off that Halloween Blu-ray box set. And getting into that a little bit in the month of October.
That was going to be my follow-up because you said you were more into streaming now. I didn't know because that you could purchase.
You don't get a lot. You'll get a lot of those. You'll get like Halloween Part 4 on like basic cable 8,000 times in the month of October. But that and I got the Friday the 13th one Blu-ray, which I was supposed to look and see if one of the discs didn't work because there was some kind of recall and I never did it. It's probably too late to replace it now, but I guess I will get around to checking out if I got a faulty pack.
Well, you should see.
October is when the physical media does come out.
You're an Amazon Prime guy, though, right?
Yeah.
So you should look up to see if you can purchase the movies through Amazon Prime and have them to stream.
I already own them though, so like that's
yeah, I get
I'm lazy, but I'm
you don't want to
I'm fiscally responsible as we've learned on this podcast. I mean, there's a man has a line. I can be the laziest person on earth, but I'm not going to pay that $4.99 to not put a DVD in.
Well, your local show Big Shot, and I wasn't sure.
Not that big shot. But speaking of Amazon Prime, this made me laugh, actually. I almost tweeted a screenshot of this. I got an email from Amazon Prime, and it was just like, I have to read it like specifically for what it says because
Okay.
it was it was so funny. Like it killed me earlier today. I hope I didn't. Oh, here it is. Amazon.com, 1:09 p.m. Movie posters. The Principal. We have a recommendation for you. We have, what's it say? We have a recommendation for you. Hello, John Thorne. We found something you might like. 11:17 movie poster, The Principal, with Jim Belushi and Louis Gossett Jr.
Louis Gossett Jr. That's a great movie, by the way.
Oh, it's excellent. I just thought it was funny that Jeff Bezos is targeting. He must be inside of my brain because I don't know why I got that email.
Did you ever see the movie Digstown with Louis Gossett Jr.?
A long time ago. Yeah, he's like a boxer, right?
Yeah, and James Woods is in it, and it's a great movie. It just makes me think it would be great to book Louis Gossett Jr. just one time for a meet and greet.
Well, you know what I think it is because
like
when I was tweeting about Jaws 3D and Louis Gossett Jr. the other
he's
day.
in that.
I don't remember for what, but the Duke hates my love for Jaws 3D, so
He hates a lot of things. He hates a lot of things about you.
I think it's I think it's because I wore a Jaws 3D shirt when the Browns won, and I said they did it, in honor of Louis Gossett Jr.
Well, my name is Steve Guy, your moderator of Swords.
Shout out to Louis Gossett Jr.
Shout out to Louis Gossett Jr. That's a great segue. This week's episode, it is another hard sell week. We do have a show coming up.
Iron Eagle, baby.
This Saturday in Akron, One Step Ahead. We've got some very special guests there in Matt Cardona, Thunder Rosa, Effie making his very first his AIW debut. But before all of that, it is time for the shout-out segment. Shouting out Louis Gossett Jr., amazing actor of Americana. Americana, yeah. Hey, shout out to...
Has Louis Gossett Jr. ever won a Screen Actors Guild Award, I wonder?
Somebody
look that up.
Yeah.
I would think if he was going to win an award...
It would be the Screen Actors, a SAG award.
Yeah, it would be from his peers.
You would hope. He's been... He's great. He was just in... did you watch on HBO... Crap, I can't think what it was, what it's called. Regina King was in it.
The White Lotus?
No, it was like I
watched that.
Yeah, it's a comic book.
No.
Adaptation thing.
I don't watch it, bro.
It's killing me. I can't think of what the heck it was called, and it was a very short series. It was very good. But
Watchmen?
Louis Gossett, yes, thank you. Watchmen, yes. Louis Gossett Jr. popped up in that. I hadn't seen him in forever, and he was in there, so it was great. He did win he did win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
What, you got the wiki up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch The Watchmen, but who are you gonna shout out?
Well, I just want to tell you that he won the Academy Award for his 1982 role as Gunnery Sergeant Emil Foley in An Officer and a Gentleman.
Oh, all right.
Do you know he also won an Emmy? He also won an Emmy Award as Fiddler in the 1997 ABC television miniseries Roots.
Well,
he's an award-winning guy.
Who would have known? But yeah, I got that. I got that email. I got that email for me for. I should get a PO box. Maybe somebody would buy it for me for $11.49. $11.49. I could get an 11:17 poster of The Principal. Great film.
Seems like a hell of a deal.
Yeah, I can't, for some reason I can't remember the name of the high school off the top of my head now.
Oh, but, yeah, I don't remember that either.
Very funny.
So my shout-outs, I've got some shout-outs that actually stem from one moment last week at our show at the Winchester. Shout out to the Winchester, by the way. Amazing hosts, as always. Good time there. And we enjoyed ourselves for a little bit afterwards. Some libations for Joshua Bishop's 24th birthday. Shout out to him, I suppose. The Intense Icon, now 24 years old. Who would have thought?
Brandell High School. I looked it up. Brandell.
Brandell. There you go.
Brandell.
Brandell with a B. Okay.
Yes.
What city were they supposed to be in?
Oh,
Chicago?
I don't know. I don't know if they get into the city.
Okay.
I think it's just like inner city. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the finisher in the production members only match, when Derek Dillinger drops Ziggy onto I think it was Malcolm, folks were like, "What was that move? That was amazing!" Shout out to Filthy Tom Lawler, because that move was brought up by him. He teased that he was going to do it the show before, and he didn't do it. That, folks, was the finishing move of one Steve Payne, one half of the former AIW Tag Team Champions, Crazy Payne. Shout out to Steve Payne. Shout out to Crazy Payne. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi. Shout out to Gringo Loco. You can thank all of those for Derek and Ziggy's new finishing maneuver. That's where that stems from.
I'm going to give a shout out to Kevin Nealon, because I went and saw Kevin Nealon on Friday.
Hey.
And he was hilarious. Yeah, after Norm Macdonald passed away, I went, man, I never go and see any of these, famed stand-ups that come through town. And I went and looked to see who was coming to town. I saw Kevin Nealon was in town, so I stopped down at Pickwick and Frolic, and I saw him, and he was really funny. He did, I think, about an hour-ish set, and it was real good. Very tall guy. Very, very tall guy.
Oh, he's super tall.
Yeah, that was a shout out to Kevin Nealon.
I'm going to give a shout out on that token to Ethan Wright, because at the end of the show, he just says to me, "Steve, Norm." And Ethan Wright, very sad, and also the passing of Norm Macdonald. And then we just went off for 10, 15 minutes talking about our favorite Norm Macdonald moments. So shout out to my guy, Ethan Wright.
Yeah,
big Norm Macdonald.
I got in on that a little,
yeah,
a little
you
bit. Ethan Wright, shocking me. I haven't heard him say like more than 5 words. And then he was all in on Norm Macdonald.
Oh, man. Ethan Wright and I chat pretty much after every show. We go into conversation. He's a big comedy fan, actually. So
wow. I never would have guessed that, actually.
Yeah, big time comedy fan, Ethan Wright. We got to get him up here and take him to a show. Shout out to our boy Mick Foley coming back. Speaking of Pickwick and Frolic, he's going to be at Hilarities for a show there.
I think November 7th he's going to be there.
Okay.
I was talking to Mick a little bit about it, and I don't know what day of the week it is. I think it's a Saturday, but I'll look into it. If
the 7th, I believe, would be a Saturday, or no, Sunday. I'm sorry, Friday.
Friday. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can work it in and swing down. Always very entertaining to see Mick Foley live, to tell his stories. So yeah, hopefully I can work that in. I mean, I don't commit to too much stuff so far in advance, though. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I looked it up. I'm a liar. It's a Sunday. I had it right the first time.
Sunday?
My math's wrong. It's a Sunday.
All right. We'll see. Mick. Sunday. I don't know.
I'm going to see if I can pop
That's a tough day to run in this. That's a tough day to run in this town.
It is, and that might be a Browns home Sunday, to be honest. But those guys at Hilarities know what they're doing. That's why they would have done it. They know who to draw. Also, shout out to Matt Wadsworth making his return back to the commentary booth. No, as you said, no football games on Thursdays.
Not only making his return to the commentary booth, giving John Thorne a ride to the show on Thursday. Shout out to Matt Wadsworth for that. Came and picked me up because I got a headlight out, and I had a little run-in with the law after sunny days. So I haven't been able to get it addressed because my entire headlight is like loose. So I have to take it to a shop. So I did not want to be driving, since I knew that I would probably be indulging in a couple cocktails with Mr. absolute icon, intense icon, Joshua Bishop, for his birthday bash. So Mr. Wadsworth came and picked me up and took me to the show. And shout out to Philly Collins, who drove me home and got me home safely on Thursday night. So shout out to Philly.
Hey, not shout out to Marino Tenaglia, who left all of his stuff there, and I had to coordinate getting it to him. Cleaning up at the end of the night, there's just a bag and jacket sitting in the back. Ends up being Marino's. Unbelievable. That's how stuff gets lost, you know? You leave your stuff behind. You put your gear in somebody else's bag because you're not paying attention, and it's dark back there. These things happen.
Somebody else, Sid Von England, put his stuff in the wrong bag. I don't know what's going on. It's dark back there at the Winchester.
It was. It got really dark. They shut those lights off, the overhead lights off, and it got super dark there. And we couldn't see anything backstage. But shout out to Robles, our guy Robles. We haven't seen him in a little while. We've been getting the other crew at the Odeon. Nice to see him.
Yeah, it's not even the other crew. They've just been mixing different crews at the Odeon. So we've had Jerry. We had, I believe his name was John, a couple shows ago. I'm really bad with names. I think his name was John. I know that he was worked on Barbed Wire City, the documentary. And Robles made his return on Thursday night, which was it's always great. It's always great to see Robles because he did so many of our shows before even the Gary and Shannon crew took over doing the majority of the show. So seeing Robles a little less frequently these days, but always a pleasure to see Robles. Also, shout out to Jordan, who was in the house on Thursday as well.
Yeah, shout out to Jordan too. Shout out to Joe Sposto, my guy, our guy. We haven't seen him speaking of people we haven't seen in a long time, but always listens to the podcast, makes sure to talk about it. And, when I ask, hey, who deserves a shout out this week? Joe Sposto hit the replies. And, I'm
going to address something. I'm going to address something in this shout out. I'm going to address this is, Joe Spostos. I don't know if you realize this, but you have an open door policy to return to AIW whenever you want. We had, there was a time when you were coming to every show consistently. I think you were getting a little heat ski at the 9 to 5 gig, and you eased back a little bit. And I never heard if you wanted to still come out ever. So I just kind of left the ball in your court. This is me publicly saying Joe Spostos, or FKA LFC, can return and be Leonard F. AIWson if he wants, whenever he wants. Because I love Joe. Joe is one of the. I probably talk to Joe multiple times a week. I always stay in contact with him, but wanted to make it official to the world. Joe Spostos has an open invite to return to AIW whenever he wants.
Wow, just dropping bombshells here. There it is, folks. Joe with the shout-outs to Pollyanna DIY, who will be at the show this Saturday in Akron, Ohio. And want to make sure that we give the shout-out to Monsoon Classic because he actually gets to take a break and not worry about concessions this week in Akron since the wonderful folks at the Tadmore Shrine handle all of that. I imagine, no word yet, but I imagine that their ice cream sundaes will still be there.
That's the hope. Yeah, should we just get into talking about
Let's get into it.
this weekend?
That's the shout-out segment brought to you by nobody. We're working on that. But, let's
if you want to sponsor it, if you want to sponsor the shout-out segment, you can be shouted out every week.
You could, yeah. Hit us up. Hit us up if you want to sponsor the shout-out segment. But let's talk about the show this week. One step ahead. Our return to Akron, Ohio for the first time in a year and a half, right? February 2020.
That was our last show in the area, and before COVID hit, February of 2020. And man, I kind of have PTSD returning there. It's like returning to the scene of the crime, because that was the last time things were somewhat normal. And it was an amazing weekend with Scott Hall. Like, so much great stuff happened that weekend. And then it was just like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, everything, the cards really just like tumbled for everything. Because, I'm sure we could go back and find the exact date when DeWine spoke, but it was like, sometime in March when it was just like, boom, everything is out. And, that bot show in Columbus pulled out first, and then we had to cancel Gauntlet and everything else. And, it was rough times. So it is a little weird to be returning to the Tadmor Shrine, but also a little exciting because, it's like, I feel like I wanted Hell on Earth to be the full relaunch, rebirth of AIW after everything we went through. And it feels like this Saturday is going to be the rebirth and relaunch of AIW. It's the first, it's really the first show that has had really exciting pre-sale. And it seems like there's a lot of, excitement around the show as, some of the other ones, throughout this entire process since April, have been a little rocky and a little tough. This one going into it feels like where we were at before COVID hit.
And you're talking about in terms of attendance, people being able to come to the show.
Well, it's just not just attendance. It just seems like there's a little bit of buzz and momentum for this one.
Sure.
Yes, the tickets are flying. I as we record this, there's, for what we set the room up for, there's less than 30 left. That includes the general admission. There's less than 30 left as of right now. So, didn't expect that because when I wasn't able to go, and Dom and Pedro, since they live very close to the Tadmor Shrine, they went and had a meeting with them about a month ago, I would say. The date, we booked the date a while ago, but then, they wanted them to come in and have a meeting and sign some paperwork. And, they raised the rent, and there was all these new kind of terms, and it was looking like this was going to be the last hurrah at the Tadmor Shrine, with the rent increase and everything else they were saying. And, it could be the talent lineup that we've put together for Saturday, but the fact that tickets have been selling so great, and it's a higher ticket price than we had done in the past in the Akron area, which I was worried about. We increased it based on the increased rent and all the other increased expenses that they threw our way. And man, like, they all sold no problem. Like, every premium seat is sold out. Like, almost all the GA is sold out. I mean, it's I know this is supposed to be a hard sell, but I feel pretty good about Saturday.
A quick note: we've mentioned this before. We will not be streaming live this Saturday. IWTV will get this up as quick as they can in terms of that viewing, and maybe we'll do like a premiere thing again.
I believe they're gonna live, like they're gonna cut it live so it has a quick turnaround.
Mm-hmm. My question to you, John, is: do you think doing the North Canton festival has helped the tickets in Akron at all?
You have there's no way to really track that, honestly. I mean, I don't know. It could be, it just could be, the area is starved for wrestling. It could be, we have an AEW talent. It could be Matt Cardona. It could be Effie. It could be the whole storm of everything, honestly. I mean, I don't know that we can pinpoint one certain thing, you know what I mean? Because, like, it's with all the announcements, it's like things have come in waves, so it's really hard to analyze.
Sure.
Like, this is the reason, like we announced the show with Matt Cardona and we saw a good run on tickets. We announced Thunder Rosa, we saw another good run on tickets. We announced Effie, we saw another good run on tickets. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I did push, the digital marketing very hard in the area, because typically, we would go down with physical flyers and posters and really, hit the city. But I didn't know how that would play with COVID, on top of the fact that like the card was really not coming together until a few weeks ago. I don't think I really set it in stone until last week, honestly. Because, there was just so much stuff in play. Effie was kind of added at the last minute, just because he happened to be in the area. He's doing an appearance in Columbus during the day. So I reached out to him and, we were able to work something out. So like there was a lot of kind of things, in flux with this card. And, the thing that was great about the ticket sales, though, is like I didn't have a lot of pressure to push a card out there without really working it through, Mm-hmm. Typically it's like you got to have a card and you got to start putting matches out. And with the Cardona announcement and then the Thunder Rosa announcement, like tickets were consistently going. So I was really able to put some time and thought into the card, as opposed to, trying to book it. Like what's great is, the Winchester show, we saw so many different kind of things unfolding, and I was able to kind of take into consideration a little bit what was going on in there and really kind of like workshop the card together, as opposed to, okay, here's what we're going with. And, the plan was just to, kind of put together, a weird, whatever suitable lineup. And I think that I've wound up with one of the better lineups we've put together in the whole kind of run since we've come back.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. It's really, we talked about this a while ago, how we have gone down this path of it's very homegrown talent, but one of the things that AIW historically would do is bring this homegrown talent and then put it against bigger names of the indies or release people or whatever the case may be. And this really kind of starts to build and fit that mold. You've got great matches of people who you're used to seeing in AIW. I mean, there's a four-way with Wes Barkley, Chuck Stone, Eric Taylor, and PB Smooth. And that's something that people who have really follow AIW are going to look forward to. Ethan Wright and Levi Everett is a match that people are going to enjoy. The main event in PME, TME versus PME, is going to be a fantastic tag team matchup. But then you've got the AIW homegrowns against people who are notable. And this is an opportunity for the homegrown talent to learn and to also just truly shine. You're on a big stage at this point. Jocelyn, it continues. Her stock continues to grow with the matches that she's getting at AIW and the matches that she's having. And it's not just that she's getting them; she is performing at a great level during these matches. And it happens again this weekend. She's got a match with Thunder Rosa. Eyes are going to be on this match on Saturday, as well as whenever it ends up being released on video. And so, again, sky's the limit for Jocelyn, but this is another moment where people are going to tune in because they're just interested to see what Thunder Rosa is doing, and now it's another chance for new eyes to get on her.
Yeah, I just think, everything kind of fell into place for this show. And, it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
It could be the fact that, we're pulling from both markets. You're pulling from the Akron area, and it's not that far, and we also pull fans from the Cleveland area. I don't know, but like I said, about a month ago, we had all kind of decided that this was it. We were done in the Akron territory. And now it's like maybe we do more in Akron in 2022. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
you got to kind of continue to feel it out. But, and it could be, we run Saturdays in Akron as opposed to, Fridays in Cleveland. There's a lot. But, for us to be able to get the talent that we get at the Odeon, it's much harder to get people on a Saturday. So that is why we do, Friday nights majority. So, there's a lot of factors. But I'm really happy about, how things are looking heading into Saturday. I think that there's a lot of really good matches, on paper, everything looks really good.
Is there one that you have you've got some high expectations for?
I mean, I'm excited for the main event. I'm excited for Cardona and Bishop and to see what can unfold there in a singles. Two big guys. Josh Bishop's hometown, Matt Cardona always has a fan base that comes with him. I think it, could potentially be a very electric environment for the main event. That's the only downfall of not streaming, but there's something to be said to being there live and experiencing that, as opposed to watching on a stream. So I think that there is there's a lot of potential for a really exciting environment on Saturday for the main event.
And the other AIW debut happening with Effie taking on TKD. That's again another opportunity for homegrown talent. There's going to be eyes on that match because people are going to watch an Effie match for the sake of wanting to watch an Effie match. And this is a match that TKD has wanted. So this should be an interesting one. And, it's something that he wanted, wish granted. And, it's time to come to play. It's ready. You got to show everybody what you've got here, TKD, because, again, all eyes are going to be on this one that typically would not be on an AIW match and may not be on in a TKD match.
Right. I mean, this is the match that he wanted. He had asked me about it a while ago. So, I made it happen. It's as simple as that. I just happened to be looking at Twitter and I saw that Effie was in Columbus that day. And I mean, if you're speeding, that's about a 90-minute trip. So I said, hey, what time are you going to be available? And we were able to work it out, and the convention he's appearing at kind of worked with us as well to kind of, cut him loose a little bit earlier than maybe they wanted to. So, there's a compromise there. And, he's going to finally make his long-awaited AIW debut. I know a lot of people have been asking me for him for a while. And, it's one of those things that just fell into place for Saturday.
There you go. People looking forward to it. So we got a couple AIW debuts, plus even, just so much more action, and we kind of rattled through some of these matches. They're going to be great. I feel like that Akron crowd always loves Levi Everett, so that will be fun. And the main event, Philly and Marino going against each other. This is, as we look back to last year, February 2020, that was a time frame where only one half of the main event made it onto the AIW card.
I don't know. I don't think that he made it onto the card. He didn't make it onto the card.
I think that Duke wasn't on the card. I thought that he was in. I thought Duke ended up being in a dark match. Actually, maybe.
No, I mean he just did the tryout.
He was there for the tryout. Maybe that's it. Maybe that was it, because I know that we had that discussion because we didn't want to necessarily put him on the card, and then he didn't have his tag team partner that people were anticipating. But so then there you go. Duke and Gannon, their debut with the Akron crowd. That'll be fun. It's going to be interesting. Any other matches on here that we're missing here? I know I've talked about Levi, Ethan Wright. We've got the 4-way with Wes Barkley, Chuck Stone, Eric Taylor and PB Smooth. That's going to be a really interesting one. We talk about 4 very different styles.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot that, can happen there. We also have the rematch between a Go for Broke rematch, arguably my favorite match from Go for Broke, the entire series. Kaplan will be taking on Arthur MacArthur in a singles, which, they had an incredible outing on Go for Broke. I can't remember the episode off the top of my head, but one of my favorite matches of the whole series was Kaplan versus Arthur MacArthur, and we are going to have the rematch between Derek Dillinger and Matthew Justice as well on Saturday. Different markets, bigger crowd. I think there's a lot of great stuff that's fallen into place, and I also think that the AIW roster and presentation definitely has its own identity again. You know what I mean? Like it always has, but I feel like people are starting to figure out who the main players are this time around. You know what I mean? And I don't want to call it a season or whatever, but there's a lot of things that ebb and flow in the world of independent wrestling, and I think people have finally are getting used to these new players or whatever you want to call them going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these guys, they're taking the ball and they're running with it, and I know that a lot of the talent happens to listen to the show, so it's nice that we sit here and we've really been laying out the challenge week after week, I feel like, and this locker room has really taken it to heart, and I think each show, it feels like they're stepping up more and more, and I just can't wait to continue to see them to do so this Saturday in Akron. A couple things worth questioning here as we look to some questions folks had in the Discord, and one of them, you said at the top of this that the plan was for Hell on Earth to be going back into regular AIW rotation of shows and the true schedule, but this kind of feels like it. But on that note, we don't necessarily have set dates for 2022 yet. I just want to clarify that component of it, but you've got in mind still the setup of shows, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of the plan for the long time, the long gap, right? The long time off after this Saturday. We're going all the way to Black Friday with no shows. And that's so, AIW as a team, we can get together and we can say, okay, we want to do these dates at the Odeon. We want to do these dates at the Winchester. We want to do these dates at Tadmor Shrine, and come up with a plan, right? You got to have a plan, and that is what we're going to do between, October and November. Is try to come up with that plan. I would like for all of that stuff to be back in the rotation on, in 2022. Probably starting in March, with Gauntlet. And then, there has been discussion about moving some of the marquee shows to different places throughout the year. That was discussed, during COVID, during the downtime. Now is going to be the time to where, we all get together and we analyze, do we want to place this somewhere else? Do we want to, kind of switch things up for a better, flow throughout the year? And, how we're going to build our stories and things like that. Now we kind of have a clean slate to, come up with a great, a great plan going forward to where, it was just like, okay, we're doing, we're going Gauntlet, Rap Show, J-Lit, Absolution. It was like all these big marquee shows, like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Now we're kind of talking about maybe we could, switch things up and space things out and put things at different points of the year, to where, it's not so, it's not so difficult on us to make things that make sense. And it's also not so, so much on the fan base to hit all of these kind of marquee story building shows, within this confined few months. So, that's something that's, going to be heavily discussed, I think, going forward. What are the pros and cons of, moving things around and, the AIW schedule. But yeah, I would like to, get back to business in 2022 as long as, we can. We've gone since April and there, have been no more kind of shutdowns or restrictions. I don't know if the world is ever going to go back to that, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's, still a heavily debated thing, rightfully so. But I don't know if people, we're going back to curfews and, capacity limits and restrictions. You know what I mean? Like, I think the vaccine's out there, there's people can make their decision on that however they want. And, we're going to get back to business and, running our regular shows. And like I said, I wanted that to really kick off on Black Friday, but it seems like we're kicking that into gear on Saturday.
Yeah, there you go. One of the questions about Toy Hio. Any plans for a future table at Toy Hio again?
Yeah, we will have a table there on the 16th, I believe, October 16th. We will have a table there. I talked to Rick, the promoter, and he pretty much said that going forward, we will always have a table at every show that we want. So yeah, we will be there on October 16th, and hopefully moving forward, we're also going to have a table at on the 23rd. The people that organized the Great Lakes WrestleFest are having their like big convention. I don't have the details in front of me, but I know that they're talking to Dom about doing like a wrestling school panel and some other people. We're also going to have a table there. So yeah, I mean, we'll always have a table at Toy Hio. At least, that's my impression from what Rick has said to me. So we will be there on the 16th.
There you go.
So will Danhausen.
Oh, hey. There you go. Heard it. I don't know if you heard it here first. Some people maybe heard it elsewhere. That's already been.
He's all over there. He's all over there. He's all over there. Stuff. Only $5 nice. To get into Toy Hio though, so it's a good time.
Hell of a deal. Very nice, very evil, very spooky time during October. We had a couple other questions worth noting in here, I believe. Oh, big question. People still want to know, when will the Duke defend the Hoss boot, either against Kaplan or Josh Bishop?
I don't know what's up with the Duke. I mean, I was going to put it on Thursday, and he said he was on the injured reserve. And I don't know what you fans did to the Duke. He left at intermission. I think you guys have finally broke him. I don't know what was said when he was out there, but for the first time ever, he left before the show was over. I don't know. He
even said something on Twitter about...
yeah, he said something like, you guys are going to miss me when I'm gone or something.
Yeah, and like being taken for granted or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know what happened there, honestly. I have not heard, so... Maybe never, guys, because you pissed him off. I don't know. I really have no idea what happened there.
He took his boot home and that's it. He's running with it. I mean, that's really it on the questions. I mean, some people wondering any further updates.
Read them all. Come on.
Special guests for November or December, aside from we've announced Psycho Clown, Hell on Earth. But anyone else that the fans should be looking out for?
So I've been trying, but like, there's a huge convention in North Carolina on Saturday. So it's really tough to kind of coordinate, a huge legend or something, and then be able to get them to North Carolina by the time that convention starts at, I think, 10 a.m. So, I don't really have an answer for that as of now. I mean, I'm trying. Tickets are selling pretty well for that, just off the Psycho Clown announcement, which is great. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the plan,
All right, and nothing set in stone for December as of yet, right?
No, I mean, it's just the December 18th will be the last show of the year. That's that's it. But no gigantic plan or anything like that as of yet. I mean, we'll see what happens.
And that show will be back at the Odeon, which one of our Discord members wants to know because the front row seating's been slightly cramped there as of late. They said it's going to be addressed by members of the staff. They had mentioned that it would be. He's just wondering if a plan has been worked out or if it's something we're not too concerned with. I can partially answer this, or you go ahead.
Okay, so a few things on this. We used to do 15 more seats in the front row. So it kind of blows my mind that it has been so cramped because we removed 15 seats. Now I know that we were able to get 3 or whatever there, when we had the stage out slightly, or the ring out from the stage slightly. I think you were able to get 3 seats right there or something like that.
Yeah,
when we had that little ramp. But we removed 15 seats from the front row, so our expectation was it wasn't going to be so cramped. Starting Saturday, because people don't know or pretend they don't know that, they bought this ticket and are in this row or whatever. Unfortunate for people that can't abide, that have been abiding by the rules. Pedro will be assigning seats via a seating chart going forward at random. Now, we can't put your seat preference into Eventbrite, so it's going to be a roll of the dice. If you'll be placed with your party if you bought multiple tickets in the same row. But we are going to be assigning seats on Saturday for the first 3 rows, obviously, because there have been so many weird complaints, like somebody took this person's seat and this and that, and Pedro typically has to leave the front door and kind of I guess more or less babysit and move people to where they're supposed to be and make things work. I had one guy message me. He was like, he bought a stage front row and he didn't know that he bought a stage front row, and he didn't ask anybody until like intermission, and he was mad. And I was just like, all you had to do is ask somebody. The seat was available for you, but he sent kind of a mad email. Like, we don't have ushers, maybe, we're going to be a little bit more organized now because people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. So Pedro has mapped out a seating chart. He has everybody's names, and he will be assigning seats starting this Saturday. And that will be how it is going forward. We'll be assigning the seats, and that's just simply because, we have been getting these complaints. So he's made a chart, and we're getting in there early Saturday, and there will most likely be a post-it note on your seat telling you where to go. It's not like a free-for-all anymore to where you show up and you run to whatever row and you try to get whatever seat. And now it's just going to be assigned going forward, because we have been getting complaints. And probably for the Odeon, if we're either going to go back to pulling the ring out a little more and putting those, making those seats available, or we're going to make less front row seats for sale in December. I haven't decided yet. That's going to be another thing discussed in our, month and a half downtime of things, on the agenda that we need to fix.
There you go. There's the answer to that one. Yeah. Right on par with all things I was going to say. And other than that, Charlie Butters had a random question for you specifically in here. Let me find it. Has something to do with your watching. Here we go. John Thorne, are you going to the theater to see The Many Saints of Newark, or are you watching it at home on HBO? And same question, but with Halloween Kills and Peacock.
I think, those are both movies that you have to go to the theater to see. I will probably then take advantage of rewatching them again on the streaming services. But yeah, I think you gotta, there's something about going to the theater and experiencing a movie you're really looking forward to seeing. So I want all the bells and whistles for both of those movies. You know what I mean? I want the fucking, XD, fucking whatever gigantic screen is called, at, whatever brand of movie theater, you know what I mean? Like Cinemark's got the XD, or the, what's the other fucking one? The IMAX, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I want those. I want the full, reclinable chairs. I want the overpriced popcorn. I want the whole experience. So I will be hopefully going to see The Many Saints of Newark on Friday, or Saturday before the AIW show. I plan on seeing it hopefully Friday night, and then I believe Halloween Kills on October 15th. I'm also gonna shoot to see that in the theater. So yeah, no streaming service for me. I mean, I want the whole shebang.
The whole shebang. Shout out to Johnny Gargano. The whole shebang already 5 years ago. This month.
Having a baby. Having a baby.
Johnny and Candace. Shout out to them. Yes.
There's some more stuff. There's some more stuff in there.
There was a question. Yeah, I just found a question about alcohol sales at Hell on Earth. Do we know anything about that?
Yeah, I believe they have a bar there, like in the facility. When I was there, they had a bar. I haven't checked to see if it is still operational since I went in there a year ago, but I will. I'll follow up with them, and but yeah, there is a bar there. Also, note there is no after party on Saturday because our usual place Thursdays went out of business during COVID. And we just didn't have time to reach out to any local watering holes down there to see if they wanted to host us. So no after party on Saturday in Akron. Sorry to break it to everybody. Unless somebody out there is listening and owns a bar and wants to work out a deal that is close to the Tadmore Shrine, let us know.
Yeah, that's worth throwing out there. Definitely worth putting out there. But that's it. Those are the questions. Those are all the questions from the Discord in there. And again, so 30 tickets or less remaining as of right now, folks, for this Saturday. So if you are in the Northeast Ohio area, Cleveland or Akron, and you want to get to this show with Matt Cardona taking on Joshua Bishop and Jocelyn Navarro taking on Thunder Rosa from AEW, plus Effie will be there, his AIW debut. He's taking on TKD, and so much more. If you want to watch any of that live in person, shop.aiwrestling.com. That's the only place to go and get your tickets. And yeah.
Also, no after party as of yet for Hell on Earth, right? Same thing. Same thing applies for that date. If you got a bar in the Eastlake area, let us know.
I might have a couple thoughts on that. I got some people I could reach out to.
Oh, I got one last shout out.
Yeah?
Shout out to the Hojo, R.I.P. It's gone out of business, seized by the government. The infamous J-Lit Weekend Hotel is no more. We're going to have to go back to the America's Best Value, I guess.
Tom Lawler's going to be really upset about this.
He got stuck staying there. On
Last
the 10th,
two shows.
September 10th. Yeah, because all the hotels are so fucking expensive for some reason. In Cleveland, hotel prices have tripled.
So part of this, I think, is because a lot of them were shut down during. So, there's a whole thing going on with the Hilton downtown. They were filing for all sorts of stuff because they have all these grants and loans and things that they got in terms of tax breaks, but they're only eligible based upon X amount of business, and then because of COVID, they couldn't have all this business due to restrictions, and then they couldn't have the staffing, and it was a whole big thing. A lot of them ran into issues during COVID, and
I just think they're not. I just think they're limiting their capacities because they don't have enough people to clean the rooms. So
yeah, that's part of it too. There's a lot of things going into that right now.
But it fucking sucks. This is why I don't want to, I don't want to fly anybody in anymore. Because I still got to book the hotels for Saturday, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, shout out to the Hojo, one of the last of a dying breed. $55 a night, airport shuttle, double bed. I mean, you couldn't beat it. Christian used to stay there, and Sergeant Slaughter, WWE used to stay there back in the day. One time I was at a hotel party there, walked out, Sergeant Slaughter was in the hallway. Couldn't believe it.
At attention?
No, he was pissed because we were fucking.
Because we were staying at the Hojo.
We were. No, all those WWE guys used to stay there on purpose. It had a hotel shuttle.
It's smart business. Save some money.
But
hotel shuttle.
The ungrateful residents of Brook Park, Ohio, didn't want such a great establishment in their town anymore. Now Sergeant Slaughter's got nowhere to sleep.
Some of them have their they have their reasons. There's some reasonings, but
I thought it was great.
We'll miss it. We'll miss the Hojo. R.I.P. to the Hojo. We'll end this with the end of the Hojo right there, and hopefully we'll see you in Akron this weekend at the Tadmore Shrine. Yes, sir.
Last announcement, because this is what I'll say. We didn't really get into the Winchester stuff, but too much. But probably our worst attended show at the Winchester, but they were extremely happy that we kept it light, we didn't overpack it, and the fans came and they were drinking and buying food and things like that. So they do want us to do more events at the Winchester going forward. So that is something that I think people could look forward to. It would be in a similar vein to the show we put on last Thursday. New, fresh faces, people that, are making a name mixed in with some of your AIW favorites. So that was, kind of, I was really nervous about that, because we didn't even hit the 100, you know what I mean? Pre-sale. But they were still, very excited, and very happy. So I wanted to throw that out there, put that out there.
There you go. Worth noting. So, hey, once again, we look forward to seeing so many of you this weekend at the Tadmor Shrine in Akron. For those of you that we don't see, for AIW owner John Thorne, my name's Steve Guy. We'll talk to you next week right here on The Card Is Going to Change.
I had something else to say about the Winchester, but I just can't think of it. Oh,
it was a great time.
I remembered where I was going. I remember my segue.
Oh.
So Pedro and Dustin Alberti want to kind of blow the merch out, and just get rid of, all the excess inventory. So then, for November, we can get, new hoodies and new shirts and a whole new kind of round of stuff, start fresh with new stuff. So Saturday, they are planning on kind of just blowing everything out, reducing the prices on all the inventory that we have, the black on black snapbacks, the Wing logo trucker hats, DVDs, the t-shirts and hoodies that we have left. They plan on kind of blowing all that stuff out, and they want to try to move as much merch as possible. Also, Thunder Rosa will be doing a meet and greet session. I have not gotten the prices from her as of yet. I believe it's going to be 25, 40, but I need to confirm that with her as far as, autograph photo op combo. Matt Cardona will also be doing a meet and greet, and we'll have a full merchandise selection for sale. I don't know what he's bringing. And Effie as well. So be prepared, bring cash. And that was the last thing I was trying to remember that I needed to get across was we are blowing out the merchandise on Saturday. We want to sell everything, and I mean everything. So we'll be wheeling and dealing prices, trying to move stuff. And then, also those three will be doing a meet and greet as well.
There you go.
That's a mouthful.
That was a mouthful.
I'm glad to remember that, though, because Pedro's going to be mad at me because he wants to get rid of all this fucking merch.
So, blowout sale this Saturday. Tadmor Shrine. Be there. Be square. No squares in my circle. Shout out West Barkley.
That's a trademarked fucking phrase.